Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tailoring things specifically for homeowners in Lutz, Pasco County, and the greater Tampa area. We are going to decode exactly how you can protect your home from some of the absolute harshest roofing conditions in the entire country. You know, your roof is your home's literal first line of defense. And down here in Florida, that defense is tested every single day by some of the most bipolar weather on the planet.
So let's kick things off with a pretty wild number, 250. That is the number of days your roof endures blistering direct sun exposure every single year, right here in the lightning capital of North America. We tend to focus on the dramatic storms, right? But honestly, it's that constant, relentless UV baking that truly sets the stage for severe damage over time.
In this explainer, we're going to quickly cover Florida's extreme climate, the early signs of a failing roof, the infamous 25% rule, insurance realities, and how to get a code-compliant replacement.
All right, part 1, Florida's extreme roofing climate and why Lutz roofs face constant threats.
Your home is getting bombarded 24/7 by some intense extreme forces. Think about it. You've got 140-mile-per-hour hurricane winds literally probing your roof for weak spots. Then there's thermal shock. Imagine your asphalt shingles baking in that intense direct sun all morning, only to get slammed by a freezing, sudden afternoon thunderstorm. That temperature swing causes violent expansion and contraction that just pries fasteners loose. Add in high humidity, coastal salt spray, and heavy debris dropping from those huge mature oak trees we see all over neighborhoods like Cheval and Lake Paget. And yeah, this subtropical climate is just relentlessly hostile.
But there's actually a hidden issue here too: poor drainage. The sandy soil throughout Lutz, coupled with being so close to the Hillsborough River corridor, creates incredibly high moisture exposure. If you see water pooling around your foundation, that can indicate your roof drainage is failing and practically funneling water right toward your house instead of away from it. And that drastically accelerates invisible wood rot in your decking and fascia.
Moving right along to part 2, signs your roof is failing. Let's talk about catching that damage way before the buckets have to come out. There's a fascinating, kind of brutal contrast in how our environment breaks down materials. On one side, you have the sudden, massive violence of wind gusts from summer storms. Those gusts can easily catch, lift, and strip vulnerable edge shingles. And once the wind gets under just one, it can tear off whole sections. On the flip side, you've got UV degradation. That relentless solar radiation slowly, almost invisibly, cooks the asphalt binder right out of the shingles over time. So what's the big red flag you should be looking for? Finding asphalt granules washing into your gutters and downspouts. If you see this, pay close attention. It's essentially your roof's armor shedding off. Once those protective granules wash away, the underlying mat is totally exposed to the sun and will very quickly start absorbing water and cracking.
Beyond the granule issue, you should also play detective for a few other things. Check for curling and cracking shingles. Look for any gaps in the metal flashing around your chimneys, vent pipes, or skylights. The sealant there dries and cracks incredibly fast in our sun. Oh, and keep an eye out for black algae streaks on north-facing sections or any moss buildup. Algae actually feeds on the limestone filler in your shingles, and moss will literally lift the edges of the shingles up. Both of these thrive in Central Florida's crazy humidity and trap dangerous moisture right against your roof.
Okay, on to part 3, the 25% rule. Let's break down some local Florida building codes.
The Florida 25% re-roofing rule is something that catches so many homeowners completely off guard. It legally dictates that if you repair or replace more than 25% of your roof within a 12-month period, the entire roof must be completely upgraded to make current building codes. Just think about that for a second. It brilliantly illustrates why a seemingly minor patch job after a heavy storm can legally act as a tripwire, triggering a mandatory full roof replacement if your current system isn't up to modern Pasco County wind codes. Sure, it protects you during hurricanes, but it absolutely changes how you have to approach storm repairs.
Which brings us to part 4, navigating insurance and costs. Let's look at the actual financial reality of Florida roofs.
When you're planning a replacement, the material you choose dictates everything. Asphalt shingles are super popular because they offer a moderate cost profile, but the trade-off? They typically only survive 15 to 20 years and are intense UV heat. Meanwhile, metal roofing offers 30 to 50 years, and tile can last up to 50 years, giving you incredible wind resistance. But, as you'd guess, both metal and tile demand a much higher upfront investment, and tile even requires verification that your home structure can support the heavy weight before they even start.
Now here's the kicker when you get the bill for that replacement. Labor, not the shiny new materials, is usually the most expensive component of the whole job.
This is especially true if you have steep roof pitches or if they pull off the old shingles and find hidden moisture damage, meaning your underlying decking needs costly replacement. Throw in permits, tear-off labor, and disposal fees, and you can totally see why getting a transparent, itemized estimate is absolutely crucial.
All right, we need to talk about a really harsh truth regarding insurance down here. Florida insurers rarely cover full replacements on roofs over 15 years old. Once your roof hits that 15-year mark, policies typically switch to something called actual cash value. Basically, that means they only pay the depreciated value of the roof, leaving you holding the bag for massive out-of-pocket costs. Because of this, pulling the trigger on a proactive replacement before a major storm hits is often the smartest financial move you can make. Finally, Part 5, Code-Compliant Roof Replacement. Let's talk about doing it right the very first time.
Top-tier companies like Crestline Roofing Tampa keep things straightforward with a super transparent 3-step process. Step 1 is a detailed exterior and attic inspection that gives you a solid written estimate. Step 2 is the dirty work, the tear-off, decking repair, and the new installation. And Step 3 is a rigorous final quality inspection and handing over all the complete documentation. By following a streamlined process like this, a brand new residential roof is usually totally wrapped up in just 2 to 3 days once the materials are sitting in your driveway.
To actually pass Pasco County's incredibly strict building codes, installations have to utilize high-velocity hurricane zone protocols. We are talking a mandatory minimum of 6 fasteners per shingle, and not just any standard nails. They have to be ring shank nails, which provide superior hold in extreme violent conditions. Installers also have to lay down specific ASTM-rated underlayment and install special ice and water shields in the vulnerable valleys of the roof. It's a lot of work, but this is exactly what keeps your roof from flying away when those 140-mile-per-hour winds hit.
Oh, and don't overlook logistics. They play a massive role in protecting your home. Working with contractors who source their materials locally, right here in Tampa, ensures your project actually starts quickly. Think about it. When a major hurricane hits, contractors relying on huge national supply chains might casually quote you a 6-week wait for shingles, leaving your house wide open to water intrusion. Sourcing locally means your roof gets fixed fast while everyone else is left staring at the sky waiting for shipments.
So, we've covered the extreme bipolar weather, the strict local codes, and that brutal 15-year insurance reality. Knowing all of that, I want you to ask yourself, when was your last roof inspection? Are you honestly prepared for tomorrow afternoon's thunderstorm, or are you gambling with your home's first line of defense? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay safe out there.